Hello there, dear YouTubers. My name is King1993 and today I'll be talking about another Valkyrie character. And before starting this video regarding that character, to understand that this is a beginner's guide only, okay? This is not a meta guide because in order to do a meta guide, I need to have all the weapons and the stigmata set to actually do that, which I do not have enough money to actually do that, okay? So as a result, this will be a detailed beginner's guide only. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about the character today, and today's character will be called Kallen Kaslana, and there are total 1, 2, and 3 Kallen Kaslana. This one is called Six Serenade, this one is called Ritual Imao, and this one is called Sanden Jaeger. Okay, now out of these three, these two are considered as a physical damage dealer, while as this one is an ice damage dealer. Okay, so that is basically the description of these. Extremely short because they are very few characters regarding Kallen Kaslana, okay, but also at the same time to understand that all of them are basically DPS characters, okay. They are not sub DPS or lesser support character, they are pure DPS character, except maybe for this one, because this one has a leadership skill where this one can provide elemental supports of 32% of elemental support on for your teammates. So obviously from that regards, this is a sub DPS from my point of view. Okay, 5 4 3 2 1. Okay, now let's go to the weapon, about the weapon categories for this character, and I'm not gonna go to the weapon section, rather I'm gonna talk it from this place because the amount of weapon recommendation for this character is not that much. Okay, so first of all, let's start with this one. This one is called Six Serenade, and for Six Serenade, her special weapon is Tranquil Areas. But here is a good thing, that these Tranquil Areas can be transformed into a 6-star preamp. So as a result, I suggest that if you ever have a chance to get this, and if you want to use this Six Serenade as a good quality gameplay character in the game for your ice DPS damage dealing, then I highly suggest that you get Tranquil Areas. Okay, but for this one, okay, it used to be blood stained, but for some reason this Ritual Imau's main weapon was blood stained, and for some reason Keys of the Void has been replaced in this place. Okay, I do not know what happened. Like, let me show you the next one. You will be shocked actually that this one has not been properly optimized. Like, the company has not properly optimized of which weapon belonging to which type of Kallen Kaslana character to make them stronger. For example, if you click on this, okay, now remember this one is called Sanden Jaeger. Okay, now for this weapon, if you were to click on this, and you will see that this one is called Blooded Saint. Now if you select this, which Valkyrie it shows, and it shows Ritual Imao. So it seems like this weapon used to belong to Ritual Imao, but for some reason Sanden Jaeger is using it. I do not know why. I have no idea why the optimization is not done properly. Like, this is a thing, like recommendation, the company should have spent a little bit more time regarding this. Okay, but here's the thing. Now out of all of the weapons which I have just shown you, not a single one of them are actually good for these two. Okay, the only weapon that I have shown you for this one, which is called Tranquil Areas, is the only one which is best for this one, but the recommended weapon for these two are not that good. Okay, so what is the best recommended weapon? Let me show you. Now most of the weapon which I have just shown you are basically not gonna be easy to obtain, so as a result I have to show you some alternatives so that you guys will be able to understand how you can use the Kallen Kaslana character. So as a result, let's go to this equipment section and go to this forge, and after going to forge, let's select this weapon, pistol weapons. Okay, now there are few categories. For example, pre-arm, bounty weapon, speed weapon, and basic weapon. Let's start with the basic weapon. Now if you want to use any of the physical damage dealing Kallen Kaslana character, then I suggest that you use this one, Usurper, because this Usurper is especially a physical damage dealing only, and the amount of physical damage dealing it does is a lot when compared to any of the other three weapons. So if you have any of the Kallen Kaslana character, you can use this usurper. Okay. Now, what about for 6 Serenade? Now, for 6 Serenade, you have no other choice but to use this Fafnir Flame, because it does provide some amount of physical damage dealing as well as fire damage dealing. But in case if you're wondering, okay, how come fire damage dealing will help in the ice damage dealing? Well, it is more about the uh, elemental damage. Okay, let's say if you have an elemental support character, then that elemental support character will provide elemental support for both ice and fire. So based on that, this is a good option, not the best, a good option for the ice colored Kaslana. Okay, now as you go on to the higher level, you will see that there is spirit weapon. Now do understand that spirit weapon can be turned into boundary weapon. So let's talk about this hyper railgun. Now this hyper railgun, okay, is a lightning damage dealing type, it shows. Okay, but here's the thing, if you do get this weapon and if you do upgrade it, then this lightning damage dealing weapon will turn into a physical damage dealing weapon. Okay, like if you read if you just read the description, even though it shows paralyze, it does paralyze the enemies, but the enemies will be taking physical damage only. Okay, so based on that, if you just go and see the percentage, or let's say the, what should I call it, recommended number, then you will see that this weapon is actually a very good option. Now how can you see the recommended number? Select this sort by equipped and select on this Kallen. Okay, and once you have done that, you will see that this Sanden Jaeger and this Ritual Imao, okay, both of them has a recommended score of 1820, or let's say 1970. Now in case if you are wondering, okay, why not give Sanden Jaeger this Jingwei Swing? Trust me, it is not worth it, because this is a 5-star and this one is a 6-star. Obviously this is a uh, some sort of calculative mistake. Okay, so go for this Positron Blaster, it is good for both of them. Now as for this one, the best one for this one is Tranquil Rhapsody. But here is a thing, if you were to have this hyper railgun and then transform this hyper railgun into this Positron Blaster, then this Positron Blaster is going to be more recommended for 678. So here is my conclusion, and that is, if you want to do a large quantity of damage on the enemy, have this hyper railgun. This hyper railgun is gonna help all of the Kallen Kaslana characters in the game. Okay. This one is not worth mentioning, it is a lightning damage dealing, so I'm not even gonna talk about this. Okay, but here is the thing, if you do get these tranquil areas, just transform these tranquil areas into tranquil rhapsody, and it will be a very good option for 6 serenade. Okay, now let's talk about the stigmata set of the game. Okay, now for the stigmata set for the Kallen Kaslana, it seems that this one is outdated because it has Zoro and it has Direct. Now here is the thing, in order to use their capabilities, it is said that you must need to be using ultimate evasion. Now I highly doubt it is going to be useful in these times. Instead, I would suggest that you go for some other sets, which I'll explain later. Now for Ritual Imao, it seems that Mihoyo is putting a little bit concentration on this one, this character. In case if you're wondering why on Ritual Imao, because Ritual Imao is currently available in the Elysian realm, and because of that, this one is actually more useful to recommend a new weapon and stigmata set rather than the old one. I can guarantee you Deacon is actually a new stigmata set. Okay, this Deacon set was not even available when this Ritual Imao came out, so based on that, I'm gonna say that this is basically an upgrade, so as this weapon. Okay, but still I would not suggest you get this weapon for this one, because as I've already shown that Positron Blaster is the best one for Ritual Imao or any of the Kallen Kaslana character. Now last but not least is the 6 Serenade. Now 6 Serenade is an old character, okay, like extremely old. like 2.1 point something. I think I saw her from 1 point something, like that much old. But here's the thing, the stigmata set is also very old. Like this is a G1 stigmata set. Noime is a G1 stigmata set, and that is what they have recommended for this one, and nothing has changed. Whereas there are G3 stigmata set for ice damage dealing characters. So obviously you should not be using like they are recommended stigmata set, because they are so old that it is outdated, and I suggest that you use new stigmata set instead of those ones. Okay. Okay, now let's talk about the stigmata set which you can actually get and which are actually gonna be beneficial. Okay, so first of all, let's start with this equipment section and go to this uh, stigmata set and then go to this forge. Once you have done that, first of all, select this physical. Okay, and as you can see here, there are basic G1, G2, G3, G4. Okay, now basic are basically you are gonna get at the beginning. They are easy to get, and the type of material they need is gonna be extremely low. Then there is G1. G1 is sacrificial for G2. G2 is a sacrificial for G3, and G3 is a sacrificial for G4. Okay, now first of all, let's start with this basic one. Now if you want to get a good stigmata set, then I suggest that you start with Marco Polo, because what happens is when you just hit your enemies, okay, or let's say you do some charge attack, just by doing those things, your Marco Polo set will be able to provide you with a lot of damage dealing. Okay, a lot of damage percentage or damage multiplier. So from that perspective, Marco Polo is a very good physical damage dealing stigmata set in the game. Okay, now as you go to the higher section, I suggest that you start with Ekaterina, because Ekaterina is going to be a sacrificial set for Michelangelo. Michelangelo will be a sacrificial set for Direk, and Direk will be a sacrificial set for Alicia. Now Alicia set is not only the best set for Alicia only, rather Alicia set is a very good set, like better than Direk. Okay, if you were to use her capabilities, and which is why I suggest that you try to go for Alicia as much as possible. Okay, now in case if you're wondering, okay, isn't the grinding a lot way too much? Yes, the grinding is way too much, but even if you were to shorten it, I suggest that you start with Michelangelo. Okay, don't start with Direct, rather start with Michelangelo, because you at least need some stigmata set to actually do some damage, right? So starting with Michelangelo and then sacrificing Michelangelo with this Direct, and then sacrificing Direct for Alicia is gonna be far shorter and far better than just going for Direct to Alicia, because it will take about 2 months to get only one stigmata. Okay, so obviously from that point of view, I suggest that you do not get Direct uh, immediately, rather start from Michelangelo and then get Direct and then get Alicia. Okay, now let's talk about the ice one. Okay, for ice one, the best basic stigmata set is Rasputin, because Rasputin, just like Marco Polo, just by hitting the enemy continuously, the ice damage dealing will increase. So that is one of the uh, main point of having Rasputin. That is the way to activate these Rasputin skills are actually very easy. Okay, now let's talk about the next one, which is called Nohime. Now Nohime is a sacrificial set for Robert Peary, and Robert Peary is a sacrificial set for Anaskariak. Okay, now instead of getting Nohime, you can start from Robert Peary and then go to Anaskariak. But here's the thing, you must need to know about Anaskariak, that Anaskariak, all of these three are actually so good that you can just go with all three Anaskariak and they alone should be good enough. Okay, like if you were to equip all of these three Anaskariak on ritual, no sorry, I mean six serenade. Six serenade is gonna become a very strong character in the game. Not the strongest, like strong from a ice damage dealing perspective. Okay, so obviously this is actually the best way which I can recommend in getting the stigmata set. Okay, Okay, now we are at the elf part of the video where I'm gonna talk about what is the best recommended elf in the game for all of the Kallen Kaslana characters. Let's go to the elf and then select. Okay, now here is the thing. There are two physical damage ceiling elf in the game. One of them is called Blood Embrace, another one is called Tesla Zero. Now Blood Embrace is good enough for breaking enemy shield and letting enemies take physical damage, but here is the thing. I suggest that you try to get Tesla Zero if possible using crystals, because Tesla Zero is a very good option. Okay, like how much good? Because if you just were to look at the ranking, as you can see, this is an A rank, whereas this is an S rank. So obviously the capability of this one, if you just look at the skills, is a lot higher than this one. Okay, so obviously from that point I suggest that you, if you have a blood embrace, that is good enough, but if you want to do even something better, then start with this Tesla Zero. Okay, now as for the ice damage ceiling, there are actually three options. Okay, let's start with the less best option. This one is called Book of Fuxi. Now here is this Book of Fuxi does elemental damage ceiling. So because of that, if you were to have her on the field and if you were to use 6 Serenade, Kallen Kaslana, ice damage ceiling Kaslana, that is, then this one will provide you with some amount of ice elemental damage ceiling. Okay, but what is the second best option? The second best option is this Water Edge, because this Water Edge will provide you with ice support. It will do some damage, but it is mostly meant for ice support. So this is a very good ice support elf in the game, and also you will need crystals to actually get this one. Now what is the best ice option in the game? Now the best ice elf in the game is this one, because this one will do ice damage dealing as well as support your character. So basically speaking, it will be hitting the enemy, doing a large amount of damage to them, as well as supporting your other ice damage dealing characters in the game. So from that perspective, getting this elf is actually the best option. So what are the best options which I would recommend for Kallen Kaslana? For all of the physical damage dealing Kallen Kaslana, this Tracer Zero is the best option, and for all of the ice damage dealing Kaslana, this Silence Elegy is actually the best option. Okay. Okay, so we are now at the end of the video where I'm gonna say that eventually, if you want to get Kallen Kaslana, and Kallen Kaslana is now a free character, but she was not used to be a free character. But if you do get her, you can give her the following recommendation which I've just shown you. Overall, Kallen Kaslana is a very easy character to explain, so I had zero problem to actually introduce her to you guys. Okay, and also at the same time, if you like this type of videos, then I suggest that you go to my website. This website is called King1993 Gaming, and the link of this website will be in the description, because it is not actually paid yet. It is a sub version of another website which I am using, Wix. But here's the thing, I am updating this website slow by slow, little by little every day. For example, I have uploaded many of the guide recommendation on which type of materials you should be getting on which type of Valkyrie. So overall, I have uploaded up to Yai Sakura. So if you want more of these guides, you can go to this website to actually see those recommendation. Okay, so if you like this type of video, then please give a like and subscribe, and click the bell notification icons to get more of this type of traffic on a regular basis. Thank you.